Namibia is a country located on the southwestern coast of Africa, with a population of about 2.5 million inhabitants. It shares borders with Zambia and Angola to the north, South Africa to the south, and Botswana to the east. Namibia is known for many things, notably its numerous fascinating national parks and other touristic destinations. Namibia has the world's largest population of free-roaming cheetahs and a good number of desert elephants. The country has more than 11 native languages, but with its cosmopolitan culture, languages from across the world are also spoken there. Many people who have visited different African countries have often acknowledged that Namibia is a safe country to live in, with its democracy being one of the most stable in the continent. Namibia is one of the driest and most sparsely populated countries on the globe, despite having a surface area almost the size of Western Europe. Most of Namibia is almost completely uninhabited by people, making it the second least densely populated country in the entire world after Mongolia, with only about 3 people per square kilometer of land, on average. Most people in this country live more than 100 kilometers away from the coast, unlike in other countries. Coastal areas in all countries and continents around the world are always densely populated, but that's not the case with Namibia's coastline. In this video, let us find out 5 reasons why 97% of Namibia is empty. Let us begin. 1. Extreme climate. Namibia is located in the subtropical high-pressure belt, which is characterized by extreme climate. The country extends from latitude 17 to 25 degrees south of the equator. According to some climatologists, Namibia's climatic condition is generally hot and arid, and there are often clear skies there that provide the country with more than 300 days of sunshine per year. In the southernmost part of Namibia, Warmbad, for instance, has a temperature of more than 40 degrees centigrade, which is an amount of temperature that most people cannot resist for a long time. The overall temperature of Namibia is therefore a factor that accounts for its emptiness. During high summer months, temperatures even get higher than normal, and this makes living very difficult in most parts of the country. The winter in Namibia usually lasts from June to August, and both rainy seasons occur twice in summer. However, rainfall in Namibia is very sparse and scanty, and droughts are very recurrent there. Another point to retain about Namibia's climate is that the country still has part of the Orange River running through it. The river caused a flood in March 2011 and displaced more than 21,000 people. 2. Geography. Namibia is situated between the Namib and Kalahari deserts, and it is generally noted that desert regions are not always highly populated. On the side of Namibia, the Namib Desert stretches along the entire coastline. The Namibian coastline is more than 1,572 kilometers long. The Namibian coastline is called the Skeleton Coast because of the whale bones and hundreds of broken ships that litter its beaches. A sailor lost his life after being run aground in the Skeleton Coast's thick fog. Those who made it to land often succumbed to starvation and exposure to the coast's harsh climate. The fog and cold winds are caused by the frigid Benguela Current from Antarctica. Despite this long coastline, the only deep-sea harbor in Namibia is Walvis Bay. The desert occupies a very large area of land and has dunes of all shapes and sizes that block the country from the ocean. The pure desert area takes up to 16% of the whole country, making it hard to get resources to sustain people living in Namibia. The salty water that remains there makes it difficult for life to be sustained around the coast. Unlike the Namib Desert, the Kalahari Desert, one of Namibia's largest geographical features, has a variety of localized environments, including some verdant and technically non-deserted areas. Namibia holds about 10% of the world's largest succulents. Here you can find these alien-like succulents towering up to 4 meters above the landscape. Nevertheless, due to this geographical situation, Namibia has the least rainfall of any country in sub-Saharan Africa, and many people find it hard to live there, making it an inevitable reason for the 97% empty area of Namibia. This brings us to our next point. 3. Constant water shortage. Namibia has a long history of water scarcity due to its arid climate and high evaporation rates. The lack of available and constant water supplies in the interior of Namibia is highlighted as an important limiting factor for development, and consequently, the population is affected adversely. Scientists have often remarked that Namibia is the most arid country in southern Africa, and water scarcity is its greatest challenge. Windhoek, the capital city, depends on surface water runoff, groundwater systems, and the recycling of gray water for domestic, commercial, and industrial purposes. However, surface water is sufficiently available in most parts of Namibia during the summer season, when rivers overflow from unusually heavy rains. Apart from a few big storage dams that hold and cause these seasonal floods and runoff, surface water is very limited. The only perennial rivers are found on the national borders with South Africa, Angola, Zambia, and the short border with Botswana and Caprivi. More than 100,000 boreholes have been drilled in the country over the past century. Unfortunately, they often get dry, making it extremely hard for people to live outside of the most populated parts of Namibia. 4. Overdependence on agriculture for survival. More than half of the Namibian population depends on agriculture for livelihood, but shockingly, only 2% of the country's land receives sufficient rainfall to grow crops. Semi-arid Namibia is marginal for agricultural production. Low soil fertility, combined with low and variable rainfall, restrict the livelihoods of smaller farmers, who often struggle to produce enough food. Food insecurity is also a problem in Namibia, which accounts for 97% of its territory being empty. Although this problem is common to almost every country in the world, Namibia's case is quite different, looking at the factors surrounding its food insecurity, such as its arid environment and poor nutrition security, among others. Despite the different measures available to deal with variable climate, not all farmers can cope, as there is limited crop and livelihood diversification, and many of the existing crops and livestock are susceptible to drought, heat, stress, and diseases. It is also worth noting that Namibia is a land of diamonds and uranium, yet agriculture remains the key economic sector there. To be more specific, even though the country also depends on the mining of minerals, mining employs only about 3% of the population. Germany promised $1.1 billion in 2021, spread over 30 years as compensation for the early 20th century genocides, but the funds will be used for infrastructure, healthcare, and training initiatives, other than land reforms. 5. Religion. Religion might not be a major reason why 97% of Namibia is empty, but it plays an important role in the distribution of the Namibian population. Namibia was once dominated by the United Kingdom and Germany, and their religious activities impacted Namibians so deeply. Namibia is a predominantly Christian country and is home to a small Muslim community. Namibia is a secular state, and its constitution allows for the freedom of different religions. Islam is a minority religion in Namibia, with a small but long-standing presence in the country. Nonetheless, religion influences the demographic process that shapes society, including decisions about homogeneous formation, childbearing, and migration, as well as behaviors that affect mortality patterns. With 97% of Namibia being empty, the country faces numerous problems, including the challenge to protect its vulnerable resources from short-term exploitation and to maintain connection with distant places. It is, however, fortunate that, with the emptiness of Namibia you have just watched in this video, its sparse population offers less pollution, and the country is filled with quiet landscapes. Most Namibians live in the northern part of the country close to the Angolan border. 5% of Namibians are whites who own more than 50% of the land for agriculture. This makes the inequality in the country very high, as most of the people depend on agriculture. Oil giants Total of France and Shell have discovered oil in the southwest of the country, which could amount to more than 11 billion barrels. Its natural beauty, cultural heritage, and tons of activities make it the perfect destination for your next adventure. Are you already excited? Then start planning your next trip to Namibia right now. Before we take leave of you, please like this video and share it with your friends and loved ones if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe to the New Tourist channel and turn on the notifications so that you get alerts when we upload more interesting videos. Thanks for watching, and see you in our next video.